Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And we've got three sick Phoenix decks for you. This card is straight up busted with its proper working with multiple men, which means each copy can also move. We've also got a review of the newly Datamined February season, a bundle review, your questions, so much more. It's late. It's after parent teacher night. Let's get started. Before we do, please hit that sub button. We'd really appreciate it if you helped us grow. We're doing our best to grassroots get as big as we can to try and bring you the very best Marvel Snap content, at least 3 brand new proven decks every single weekday, faster than the meta can adjust, so that you can get infinite and more. We do everything on this channel. Help us out. We also do the biggest giveaway in Marvel Snap every single season. We've given away 15, that's 1-5 season passes for Sebastian Shaw. Our Twitter giveaway winners are Mahern, Adel Chapman, hey Adel, Kaio, who already claimed his, Sour, and Lyra. You've all been contacted on Twitter. If you won on the Marvel Snap Zone, you've been emailed on the email you provided there, and the YouTube winners are in yesterday's Shaw video, so check that out so I don't have to make everybody wait. Tomorrow, we're kicking off a Pro Bundle Mark II giveaway. We're giving away that bundle with like 9,000 credits and 6,000 tokens in conjunction with our friend Super Tech God. So make sure you stick around, sub, ring that bell. You won't want to miss the way you can win that giveaway. We also have a sheet we keep every single day that is all of the giveaways that are active currently in Marvel Snap. It's maintained by myself and a friend of the show, Banshee. Hey, Banshee, hope you're doing well. And, well, hopefully you like it. Hopefully it helps you find some really cool creators, and hopefully it gets you some free stuff. We believe in deck credits here. Deck credits are real simple. We've got our questions of the day. Then the first deck is me and Safety Blade collaborating on a deck. Sub while you're here. It's my deck. Our next thing to do is we're going to talk about that Nebula bundle you can find in the shop for 15 bucks. Then we've got a pure safety deck and then a pure me deck. And between the two, we've got the Datamined February cards. Cool. We end with a look at my shop and the one collection I finally have 9 variants for the albums. So you'll see what that is. You'll see what variant I got out of that deal. Longtime viewers know which one it is. You can figure it out. All right. Dresden asks if I have any specific tips not to get tilted other than taking a break. I'm playing a lot less this season, but I found I'm getting mad 1 or 2 games, even trying to do simple dailies. Proving Grounds, MMR is messed up, as I wish I could play casually or farm boosters, but people are queuing with like infinite decks. So my way to not get tilted is to fundamentally like remember what I'm playing and why I'm playing. So like sometimes I'm playing to do dailies, right? And like if I'm playing Proving Grounds to do dailies, I will ignore what my opponent is doing. If I need to play 3 drops for room with 4 locations, I will just play 4 cards, retreat for 1 cube. Play 4 cards, retreat for 1 or 2 cubes. And then after that, I'll play the game. Like, too bad. Sorry. So sad. Sometimes I'm testing a deck for the channel. And I'll know that, like, okay, so I'm trying to pay attention to the matchups, like, and what I'm learning from this. Sometimes I'm just trying to, like, improve my play and focus. The idea is to have a goal for me that's not just win the game, because even if you're really, really good at Marvel Snap, you're going to lose, like, honestly, probably 45% of your games. If you're, like, just a regular infinite level player, think rank 10,000-ish, you're going to lose, that percentage of your games. Sorry, that light was a little bright. So you're going to lose like 45% of your games, which means like you're going to hit bad runs and it's going to feel bad. So like you need goals in this game for me that aren't just hit infinite, that aren't just do well in the game. You need goals that help you do other things that keep the game fun. Sometimes I'll decide to give myself a challenge and say I'm going to try and win and play with this kind of deck. Sometimes I'll build a whole new set of decks and say I'm going to try and win 1 game with each of these 5 decks. No repeating a deck. If a deck wins, it can get repeated. If it loses, it changes. I just find lots of challenges for myself to play. And that I have basically a full collection and so many different decks to choose from really, really helps. Another thing that really hurts a lot of thing that causes a lot of people to tilt is at the end of the game, they stay in just to see. You don't need to just see. You know what it is. You know what they have it. Run away. And the way I trained myself to do this first was to constantly remind myself that I was losing double every time. 2 is twice as much as 1, 4 is twice as much as 2. You are losing a seriously massive amount when you don't run. You're losing double. And like I was like, oh crap, I don't want to lose double. And I started training myself for that. A thing our friend Lauren Whatever does, and now she hits infinite every season, is she's told me, imagines me on her shoulder going, retreat now, retreat now, retreat now. Because what you're doing if you're not hitting infinite, if you're tilting, is you're not retreating enough. Retreating doesn't really feel bad to me. Losing a bunch of cubes feels bad, but like I don't even care if I snapped and they snapped and then I retreat for 4. Like if I realize that I'm saving um double value, right? If I'm saving like if I'm only taking half damage, that feels like a win to me. And that feeling like a win prevents my tilt. Models asked with Cecilia's card interaction from Snat's history that's since been changed or nerfed, and it's the Dara interaction where if you played Wong and then played Kang on it, it broke the game. I don't know if that's what you meant, but like it would literally freeze out the game. The game would lock up for opponents as it just kept happening over and over again, which was just like completely insane. It was I mean it was genuinely broken. Like it got Terra, I think, like banned, like not real banned, but like his account suspended for a little bit because of it. It's nuts. Greg is Fun says, when you destroy a card like they did Chavez, it has the feeling of hurting early gameplay. I get the want to change up the metagame, but players who are newer and don't have access to the full card list really depend on having access to strong cards to help them progress. I feel that ultimately this is going to hurt players toward playing formerly mid-range decks, which are full of Series 4 and 5 cards. I don't think so. Um, I think Chavez is generally better for higher series players than lower because they have more powerful things to do. And if I have more powerful things to do, seeing them more consistently is better for me than it is for you. If my top end, if my consistent play is better than your consistent play, and if I have more cards and access to more power than it should be, then increasing variance should make lower card level players more able to go. Like bluntly, that should happen, right? Like that's how this logic works for exactly this interaction. Um, so I don't think that's true. And is it gonna make us to play mid range decks full of series 4 and 5 cards? I mean, like maybe mid-range decks. Oops, excuse me, wrong button. Mid-range decks for 4 or 5. Excuse me, mid-range game decks with series 4 and 5 cards, and we're mostly talking like Darkhawk and Loki already exist, right? Like series 4 and 5 cards are Alioth, and that already exists. We're not really changing anything here. We are increasing the overall variance of the game. Like getting a Zabu on 2 is harder. Getting a Loki on 4 is harder. Those decks are worse, but Shuri was like the quintessential Series 3 deck, and Shuri's a little bit hurt by No America, but like She Hulk is a just fine replacement. So you're losing out, but you're not losing all that much with that kind of thing. Um, I think that this variance is ultimately good for the health of the game, for the health of lower level players. We'll go over some more Chavez stuff tomorrow. I got a whole bunch of Chavez questions and comments today, so we'll go over some more of that tomorrow. But I have a question for you. Um, I'd like to know what the best home for Shaw is outside of Silver Surfer that you found or seen, either played or played against you. Let me know in the comments. I will feature a couple of those in tomorrow's video. But right now, my first impression of Shaw is that he's a surfer card. I like to do a new card impressions the day after it releases. My early impression is that this is a really, really solid surfer card, and it pushes Brood back to the top of the surfer pile. At least while Shadow King is being underplayed. I thought Shadow King would be everywhere, and he's not. But the werewolf decks that were dominant, I think, are now overtaken by the Shaw decks. And I'm not talking Shaw like 12 power. I think Shaw is like a 9, 11 power as a general rule is fine. You don't need to go completely crazy. Um, Shaw's a very good card, but it's a very good surfer card in my experience right now. I'm hoping someone has something else that really works, something else that with a decent win rate, that so that it didn't just release a season pass card for one deck. The last time they released, I mean, I guess Loki is a season pass card for one deck. The last time they released a like general use, like a card that didn't define a deck, I can't even remember, right? So Shaw is so far good, not great, good and very good in Surfer, but I have not found another home for him that I've seen. I've seen him played in other things, but he doesn't seem good in them. I've got to try. Still have not had a chance to try. In yesterday's video, there's a safety on reveal deck where you go like Wong into whatchamacallit, little Ironheart. Couldn't think of Ironheart's name. Wong into Ironheart into Odin. And like at that point, your Shaw just gets like pretty freaking big if you had him out on 3. So that's like a thing you can do, right? There's a real power play here. Is that going to be the best home for him? Maybe. It's the only thing I haven't tried that I've seen that looks interesting. But let me know. Maybe you guys have had different experiences from. Okay. The rest of this video is going to be all about the Phoenix Force. Well, the rest of the decks are going to be all about the Phoenix Force. Phoenix Force was fixed so that with Phoenix Force and Multiple Man, the clones can move. Any clone with Phoenix Force cannot move, but it's especially relevant with Multiple Man, who, when you move, makes his own clone, right? This has made Phoenix Force completely busted in my experience thus far, and all of my friends' experiences that are playing. It's completely silly. The general Phoenix Force playline is on the screen now. Turn 1 is a card like Forge, Pump. Turn 2 is Multiple Man, Torch, whatever target you want for Phoenix. Sometimes that's Dagger. I've seen Dagger versions. But generally, Multiple Man is the best. Turn 3 is Kill It. Turn 4 is Phoenix Force. Turn 5 is Move It Around. Use cards to move it around or play some stats. Either one is fine. Turn 6, same as 5. Or a card like Taskmaster or Zola to make yet more Phoenix Force cards. That's the general playline. We're not going to go over that playline for every deck. I promise you, every Phoenix Force deck has that same basic playline. Pump, play a card, kill a card, Phoenix, move it around, win game. Cool. Sometimes win game means Taskmaster. Sometimes win game just means a million copies. Either way, you'll be fine. Phoenix Force is meta. This is the cube steal right now. It's one of those powerful things you can do. It's not the most consistent, which is why it's, again, probably good that they nerfed America, but it is extraordinarily powerful. The first deck is one we actually talked about yesterday. We're not going to go over this deck again. This is Jeet's top 5. You'll note America Chavez is still a 6/9 in this deck. She gets cut. You run instead of her. I run Deathlock because I want the 3rd kill for Deadpool. This deck has full coverage in Monday's video. If you would like to go check it out, please feel free. I saw this deck and I went, this is like 80% of a Werewolf deck, and I think Werewolf is probably more consistent than Deadpool. So I messaged Safety and we talked about it, and this is what we came up with. This is Werewolf by Force. So basically, you can do the Phoenix Force thing, and if you do the Phoenix Force thing, guess what? You probably win. You can also do a Multiple Man thing, where you play Multiple Man and then you play Hulkbuster Multiple Man on 3, and you start moving around with cards like Cloak and Forge, and potentially if you Iron Fist before, and Ghost Spider, and so on. And if you're going to move it around that way, having a Werewolf by Night out, because Forge, Ghost Spider, Iron Fist, well, Nico, Carnage, Cloak, Venom all synergize with Werewolf, which means you get a nice big Werewolf, you get a decent sized Multiple Man, and you win. And if not, you can always just Phoenix Force your Multiple Man and win that way. This has been really, really, really strong. Like, I don't know what else to say. It is also really, really, really hard to play, but it is a powerful deck. So if you're willing to learn it and take the time to learn it, you're going to win a lot of cubes with this. It's so hard to play around this much power. There's probably yet another version of this that I haven't bothered to build yet because it's been less than a day. That runs Beast and Torch in here, or even probably Cut Strange at that point, but it like runs, yeah, Beast, Torch, and then maybe one more card. What would that last card be? It would be Beast, Torch, and Falcon, and then like you'd have to cut one more card. Maybe that card is Hulkbuster. Maybe that card is one is definitely Doctor Strange, and then one of the ones probably Nico at that point. And you say, okay, so I can build myself a giant Human Torch even without Phoenix Force, and then I can win another lane with Werewolf, and then you just go that route. Or you can Phoenix Force Multiple Man and just auto win. So like, That Phoenix Force Multiple Man feels auto win is so nuts as long as you have any other cards, and we do. We have other move cards. So there's just a lot to like here. I'm telling you, this deck is what's the word I'm looking for? Absurd. This deck is utterly absurd. So if you can figure out how to play it, play it. Ghost Spider or Nico can be Heimdall for an extra move card. You probably want Ghost Spider or Nico though. And this needs Werewolf. This is like built for Werewolf. Um, don't play the Human Torch package I talked about earlier without Ghost Spider. You can play it without Nico fine. So this is hard to play. I played this a bunch. And I kept losing games that I should have won because I wasn't thinking the play lines through properly. I think this is a deck that if you're really good and you take the time with, you can dominate. Turn 1 is Forge, turn 2 is Multiple Man, turn 3 is Werewolf. At that point, you're dropping Hulkbuster on Multiple Man, along with Iron Fist or Ghost Spider to give it a move. Iron Fist obviously before Hulkbuster, Ghost Spider after. When it combines, it won't move until it combines, then you get the clone. Um, Empty Lane, play a Destroy card to move Werewolf, or you can just further keep moving that Multiple Man, and then Strange and Cloak is the end of the game. This may want Heimdall over Forge or over Nico at the end of the day. Cool. Because for Heimdall would just be an insanely strong last play. You could be playing pumping a Multiple Man Hulkbuster into a bunch of lanes, and then that Heimdall plus Werewolf is backbreaking. Okay, that's the deck. This deck is very good. Like I'm telling you, like so I'm not losing every game. That's absurd. I've got about a 50% win rate according to the deck tracker with this deck. Um, and every single loss, I've been like, oh, if I just did this, I would have won. Why didn't I do that? Because it's super freaking hard to play. Cool. All right. Quick variant look. I bought this Venomized Ghost Spider. You'll see it at the end because I realized I was going to be playing a lot of Ghost Spider with Venom and Carnage, and now they're all friends. I do have Doctor Strange here, the Midnight Suns, to go with our Midnight Suns Nico, the Jacinto, Venom, and Carnage. I went the Greeky Cloak because there's no dagger, so there's no point running the 1602. X-Force Forge, the only Multiman I have, the only Werewolf I have, you're going to see them in every deck. Blueprint Hulkbuster I decided to go with, and the Horley Phoenix Force, which we got with the Season Pass. This is a really good example of why you buy the damn Season Pass, by the way. Because, like, you could just have the Phoenix Force now and be set for this deck. All right, next up, we're going to talk about this Nebula bundle. This is $15 for Nebula's Winter Vacation variant, 500 credits, 1200 gold, 310 Nebula boosters, and the Nebula Winter Vacation avatar. This is middling value. It's not like the best value in the game, but if you don't have Nebula, this is one of the most valuable packs you can. Nebula is a Series 5 card and a stellar one. She goes in an absolute ton of decks, particularly things like Lockdown. Absolutely love her. Um, if you don't have her, please buy this bundle. You will not be sad. Again, a reason to buy the season pass. Season pass is $10 and way more value outside of the card. But fine. Let's say you weren't playing or you just didn't want to buy it. You should 100% be getting Nebula this way. You get similar gold to the Nebula Season Pass back for $5 extra, and you get a really, really adorable variant and 500 credits. Nothing to be sad about here. I think this is one of the easiest buys in Snap. If you don't have Nebula. If you do have Nebula, depends how much you like the variant. I grabbed it because I really like this Winter Vacation variant. I think it's kind of adorable, but it's not must have by any means. Next up, we have the Safety Phoenix Force. This is the deck that he was promoting before we talked about it. A few people won Infinity Borders with this deck when it was running America Chavez in place of Deathlock. I'm going to tell you straight up, I love Deathlock in these type of decks. Nothing feels worse to me than having Phoenix Force and Multiple Man, and having Multiple Man and Human Torch and Phoenix, and then not being able to find a Destroy. I feel like a giant schmuck. Third Destroy card makes that really, really sing. So guess what? Third Destroy card here. Oh, I should have changed which Ghost Spider I used. So whatever. We'll talk about that when we get to variants. This deck has an extra play pattern, right? It can go kill Human Torch, Phoenix Force. Well, it's got two extra play patterns. Phoenix Force, Human Torch. Move it around a bunch. Don't bother to play anything else. Then Zola that damn torch. And you've got like 280 power torches and you win. If for whatever reason there's a seventh turn, this is even better, to the point where I was like, ooh, should I run Magic here? I could definitely actually see Magic being really good here. The other play line is, oh crap, I didn't see Phoenix Force by 4. I guess I'll drop Shuri, drop Nimrod. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. There's not a lot of extra move cards for if you Hulkbuster multiple men here, so be forewarned. It's not always the best play, although you can do that Ghost Spider and then Doctor Strange and get a reasonable amount of freaking power around the board. Replacements, Nimrod and Zola can be Taskmaster and Red Skull just fine in this deck. In fact, keep that in mind for later on this video. Ghost Spider can be Nico or Iron Fist. It's not a huge change here. Ghost Spider's better, but not like a bajillion times. And Deathlock may actually want to just be Heimdall as well. Cool. This is where I would go if I were trying to get the hang of this deck. Turn 1, you pass. Turn 2, you multiple mana or torch. Turn 3, you drop Hulkbuster. Remember, this is the not destroy gameplay we talked about. You drop Hulkbuster, then you play 2 move cards or Shuri. If you've played the move cards, now either way, you're dropping Nimrod on turn 5 on top of Shuri or just in the lane alone. Then you eat Nimrod twice, and then you win the game because one of those eats is ideally Venom. Obviously, is really, really good at maintaining the power. This is also really nice in that it really beats the pants off locations that can't be played in or destroy locations. So you start dropping Nimrod in there and having wonderful, wonderful. This I'm very disappointed in myself. Should be running the Peach Momoko Doctor Strange and the Peach Momoko Ghost Spider. My bad. Whatever. It's running the baby Shuri because I wanted to run the baby Shuri with the baby Doctor Strange, but I could have run a different Shuri and avoided this. I really like this Deathlock. This is Steampunk Hulkbuster. I have 2 Human Torches. I didn't buy the new one. I have the free one they gave us for the bad vote. That should have been Shang-Chi. But I like this one better. And then I threw the Hip Phoenix Force in to be friends with the Hip Nimrod and the Hip Zola, because hips are the best, and here we have 3. Next up, we have our review for the February season cards. The first of these, remember, February is automatically 4 weeks. So there's still, much like January, much like was announced for December, an extra card here. We've got to figure out what they're doing with it, because these are all themed cards, so it's hard for me to imagine one of them just disappearing. I have a theory about what they're doing with the season pass and with this extra card, but we'll talk about that before I don't know, before next week. We have until the end of the year before they announce something, so let's see if my prediction is right. Our season pass card for February is Black Swan. This is OP and going to get changed at some point, probably after release, but on reveal, 2-3, on reveal until the end of your next turn, your 1 cards cost 0. So you just zoo Hitmonkey and win. Also, this comes out after Kyra. Kyra is a 3-4 that your 1 and 6 cost cards can't be destroyed. So you just sort of go nuts, right? Like you can drop like 4 or 5 1-cost cards and hit monkey and then be like, I win. Thanks for coming. Have a wonderful day. Obviously this is great with Kazoo. God forbid they ever release Firestar. This will be nuts. Firestar is a 6-3 that gives any cards played the turn before her power. So if you give all the ones you play this on turn 4, you give all the ones you played on turn 5 plus 3 power. That seems intensely powerful. This is obviously really good in Thanos. All your stones are now free. Quinjet taught us that free stones are completely nuts. Free Nico is just nuts. If you can trigger this multiple times, you can have multiple turns of just sort of doing whatever you want. This card is going to be completely insane. Black Swan is must buy. I thought Scar was good, and Scar is 6/11 that gets -2 cost for each 10 power card in play. Black Swan is better. Black Swan, I think, is the best season pass card since Loki, and better than any season pass card before Loki. I think it's better than Ms. Marvel. I think it's better than Elsa. I think it probably goes back to like Zabu besides Loki. It's one of the top tier cards in my personal opinion. And I could easily be wrong, but that's where I would place it right now. Basically, every time something lets things cost 0 in Marvel Snap, it ends up broken. Supergiant is a 1-2. On reveal, all cards played this turn and next turn don't reveal until the game ends. Both players. However, if you want your cards to reveal, you can play your cards and then drop her last, right? So, if you have priority, you can play on like turn 4, you can play 3 power worth cards, and then drop her. If you play Black Swan, she's free. So you can basically guarantee on turn 5 that like that Shang happens. Or if you have priority, you can guarantee Alioth kills anything unrevealed now, period. So if you have priority and you can play her, especially for free with Black Swan, then you can play Alioth and kill basically their 2 turns worth of their plays before they reveal, as long as you have priority going into this and reveal first. Supergiant's going to be really, really good. There's going to be a million combos with her. Our friend Quinny, hi Quinny, is going to completely love this card and break the crap out of this. That it's a 1/2 is silly. It's intensely strong. Next up, we have the next week's cards. And remember, we've got 4 cards here. There will not be 4 extra weeks in February of cards. February is the shortest month. You probably know that. Cull Obsidian is a 4/10. Crazy good stats, but can only be played at a you can only play this at a location with an Infinity Stone. Ongoing, can't be destroyed. So they're really, I think, trying to like decrease Shang-Chi and Killmonger in the game, because after Kyara, the Ebony Blade, there's a lot less reasons to run Shang-Chi. This goes in every Thanos deck forever. 4/10 is a killer stat line. In a Thanos deck, if you've played a Thanos deck ever, you know there's basically always a stone in the lane. Having a 4/10 that you can play into a Devil Dinosaur, into a Professor X is great. And if you ramp past it with a card like Time Stone or Psylocke, great. You can still drop it on turn 5 and not really be behind curve. Also great if you need to play it on turn 5 if you're playing a Lockjaw build, and it's possible that Black Swan brings back Thanos Lockjaw. If you're playing a Lockjaw build, now you have an extra energy on turn 5, you get a 4/10 that can't be destroyed, and you can throw a stone into Lockjaw. The second most powerful of the, what are they called? The Dark Order, Black Order, whatever they're called, is Corvus Glaive, in my opinion. On reveal, discard 2 cards from your hand to get 1+1 max energy. So turn 3, he's an extra ramp card. He does Hellcow's effect, and then you get +1 power for the rest of the game. I don't know how to emphasize how nuts that is and how powerful that is. If I mean, you +1 power, you get 5 energy, right? On turn 4. You can play him with Electro in any non-combo big stuff deck and just go to frickin' town. You just drop big stuff and your opponent can't really do much. He also synergizes with Proxima Midnight, but he synergizes with every discard card. He synergizes with Swarm. He synergizes with Apocalypse. He goes in that deck. You run MODOK on that deck still? I don't even know. Like this might be a different deck entirely. But either way, I know one thing about it. It's gonna be powerful. Energy cheats are powerful. This is a 3-cost energy cheat. We also have a 1-cost energy cheat. Corvus Glaive might or might not be good in Thanos. You often have a lot of air in your hand in Thanos. Having an extra energy in Thanos is extra good. So being able to chuck, I don't know, a couple of stones and then Corvus Glaive seems strong. Finally, we have Proxima Midnight, a 4/6. When this is discarded, it jumps to your lowest power location that isn't full. I mean, you probably chuck that in like Hella decks, right? And you probably just chuck it in general in your regular discard decks. If you're playing a MODOK discard deck, right? Like this replaces America Chavez in that deck. Your last turn is now MODOK, and you just get a free prox. Swarm has to go from that deck probably, which is the other real problem, because you can't if you're MODOKing on 6, Swarm probably costs 2 and then gets stuck in your hand and messes up your Dracula. But if you're not, well, Proxima is freaking fantastic. Just a free 4/6, right? Like that's in the lowest power location that isn't full. Seems crazy strong. January and February look completely bonkers. December looks good. The Blob looks great. Havoc may be broken and may be terrible. Selene looks good in one deck, which means that I'd be saving caches outside of grabbing Iron Lad and Jeff for January and February. Seriously, Black Swan is nuts. Black Swan is so nuts. If you've never bought a season pass before, if you're going to buy a season pass, Black Swan seems to be the one. Okay, we're now on to Sink the Kitchen. This one is my baby for months now. Hi, long-term viewers. I know you missed it. I've won Infinity tickets with it. My Discord group has won Infinity. not Infinity Tickets, Infinity Borders with it. My Discord group has one Infinity Borders with it. There is so much to like about this. This deck is a conquest deck only, and it's all about optionality. Basically, you can choose one of 3 routes to win. Your favorite right now is the completely frickin' broken multiple man Phoenix Force thing. Do that if you can. I might just run Magic in this to make that more consistent. Because then if it takes you, if you can do that, you can also still go Shuri Red Skull, right? And then like the another win condition is, oh, my opponent doesn't have Shang-Chi. Great. Shuri, Red Skull, Taskmaster, have a great day. Or my opponent does have Shang-Chi. Shuri, Nimrod, double destroy. As soon as you know what your opponent has, you can tailor your game plan around building towards it and winning the game that way. It's bonkers. This deck is super strong. It fell off a little bit because honestly Eliath was really annoying for it. I don't think Eliath is even good. Honest to God, I think Eliath is probably done. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I don't think Eliath is sticking around. Replacements. Ghost Spider can be Iron Fist, Nico, or Strange. And this needs Nimrod. If you're going to run this full package, you need Nimrod. So this will need an Infinity Border. 1 people on my Discord Infinity Border. Remember, we talked about the regular Phoenix play pattern. This has that. But it for other things, it's turn 1, whatever, turn 2, whatever, turn 3, ever what, turn 4, Shuri, and then decide if they have Shang or not. If they have Shang, play Nimrod. If they don't have Shang, play Red Skull. If you played Red Skull, play Taskmaster. If you played Nimrod, double destroy. And a thing that happens reasonably often if you don't feel especially favored, not reasonably often, but like it happened a couple times, is and sometimes it wins you a game, sometimes it loses you a game, is they have to assume you have double destroy, right? Fine. But like people stand for that because they refuse to do math all the time. You can also drop Arnim Zola on a Shuri Nimrod location or a Shuri Red Skull location and just say, I'll take a 50-50 on auto winning this game. Worked great. Quick variants. This is the Momoko Ghost Spider. I should have had it with the Momoko Doctor Strange. That's on me. The Human Torch that I don't like that we got instead of the better Shang-Chi. We've talked about most of these variants. Black Panther Shuri is the current best Shuri in the game. Taskmaster is a luchador. We've got the only Red Skull I have, Down with Nazis, and the adorable Game Boy Zola. He trick-or-treated. Is very happy about it. All right, my shop on Monday was Viper Armor, Ghost Spider Nova, America Chavez, Angel, Loki, and Gambit. And clearly, I got a Venomized variant takeover, which is pretty interesting right before the collection. I thought everyone might right before the albums came out, but it was just me. But it turns out I don't really like Venomized variants. Sorry to those of you who love them. Um, I don't know. Venom has always seemed kind of edgelordy to me. No offense to those of you who like him. I know a lot of cool things have been done with the character, but overall, meh. So because I'm overall meh on it, I grabbed this Ghost Spider because again, I'm gonna be playing Ghost Spider with Venom and Carnage a lot in whatchamacallit decks in Phoenix Force decks, and now I can theme them. So fine. If Doctor Strange is in it, I'll run the Peach Momoko, and if it's not, then I'll run the Ghost Spider, and that's cool. All right. Then the next day came, and I was looking forward to all these new variants, and I got a Howard the Duck, but I already have the Hip and the Noir Howard the Duck, so I certainly don't need this one. And this Wolverine I felt like was freaking must buy. Um, it's the golden brown costume, which is the best Wolverine costume, and B, the on the bed looking at the picture, it's like the Gene and Scott thing from the animated series where he like cuts their thing apart. It's so good. It's so good. It's a meme in a card, and it's gorgeous art. So I had to buy it. Um, I have Lifebringer Galactus. I don't need Baby. I have the Ultron with 6 arms. I don't need that. I have like 3 Blue Marvels, including a hip. I have the awkward Mr. Fantastic, where he's a pirate from 1602. And I have an Orca, so I don't need any of these variants. I'm fine. You might notice the little spider on the mystery variant. That means like 3 of the 12 in that bundle are potentially Venomized variants. Finally, in the Nuver shop is a bundle for either Hip Sarah or Hip Luke Cage. The Hip Luke comes with some more credits because Sarah was a more expensive variant than Luke. I have Sarah Hip. I don't have Luke Hip. I decided to buy it because it also comes with 2,000 credits, and that is my 9th hip variant, which means I also got hip Cosmo from the album. Would I have bought this anyway? Honestly, yes. I think the secret to albums is I'm not really ever planning on buying stuff just for them, but I am trying to more or less very slowly collect every hip because there's some I'm passing up until I'm very late in my hip collection. Um, like I don't like the Scarlet Witch hip, but I like almost every other hip, and this Luke Cage is good enough, so I'm gonna run this Luke Cage, and now I have the best boy Cosmo, and I'll never run. I'm a happy content creator, person, individual, human being. And at that point, I'm gonna go to sleep. I appreciate all of y'all watching. Thank you so much. Hit that sub, ring that bell. Don't forget Pro Bundle Mark II tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Peace.